While the imminent signing of Von Miller ignites tactical debates on digital platforms, a parallel market movement is gaining momentum in the Stars' offices, directly targeting the offensive line's depth. This involves the availability of veteran left tackle Taylor Decker, who has been a free agent since being cut by the Detroit Lions in March. Decker brings with him the impressive experience of a first-round draft pick, boasting an impressive 140 NFL starts and a recent Pro Bowl selection for the 2024 season. His physical history demonstrates his durability in the league, having started at least 14 games in 8 of his 10 professional football seasons. His release in Detroit came shortly after the offensive lineman hinted at retirement due to a persistent shoulder injury that limited his playing time over the past year, ultimately deterring franchises seeking a guaranteed starter. However, the Dallas Cowboys find themselves in a completely different and advantageous situation in this market scenario. The team isn't looking for a player to immediately take over the starting position on the offensive line, as they already have Terrence Steele and the young Tyler Guyton in the end positions of pass protection. The great advantage of Taylor Decker's arrival in Texas would be establishing high-level internal competition, applying real and healthy pressure on the young athletes, and offering an experienced insurance policy in case the worst happens in the 2026 regular season. If you value this in-depth and straightforward journalistic coverage of our America's team's direction, take this opportunity to click the subscribe button below and strengthen our fan community. Block 3. What caused this? The urgency for a signing of Taylor Decker's caliber is a direct result of a serious structural problem that few people within the Dallas training complex are willing to admit aloud. The Cowboys' depth chart behind the starters is, in fact, a huge risky gamble disguised as technical planning. The primary immediate backup in the trenches is second-year player Nate Thomas, whose advanced statistics from last season are alarming for any coaching staff. Thomas recorded a pass protection rating of only 31.6 on the Pro Football Focus (PFF) platform, placing him last among all qualified offensive tackles in the entire NFL. In just 219 snaps blocking for the pass, the defender allowed an impressive 23 pressures and 3 sacks, representing a protection collapse rate of over 10% of his repetitions on the field. The other name on the backup roster is Drew Shelton, a 4th-round draft pick who enters the professional ranks without having played a single snap at the NFL level. Given this scorched earth scenario in the tackle rotation, analyst Candace Padza of the Sideline Report was categorical in stating that although shoulder problems and the specter of retirement are legitimate red flags for other teams, Decker is precisely the surgical profile that Dallas needs at this exact moment. The financial risk of such a signing in free agency is minimal for the Cowboys' payroll, while the technical gain and emotional stability of having a battle-tested veteran on the bench gives the coaching staff a peace of mind that the current young roster simply cannot offer before the decisive trip to Oxnard. Block 4. Reaction of those involved. The approach taken by the front office, led by Jerry Jones, throughout the offseason has generated intense reactions from media analysts and caused discomfort among sectors of the fanbase that demand aggressiveness in the transfer market. Several experts point out that the Dallas Cowboys have spent the last few months implementing a dangerous passive strategy, acting as if the serious defensive problems presented the previous year could be solved simply with motivational speeches and hoping for perfect team health. The external diagnosis is direct and consensual. The front office created a wish list instead of a real action plan to protect their franchise quarterback. While rivals Philadelphia Eagles and Washington Commanders made assertive moves in the division, Dallas opted for inertia on offense. On the players' side, the pressure falls entirely on the shoulders of the young starters, especially Tyler Guyton. Although Guyton possesses impressive physical tools and a technical ceiling worthy of a franchise player at the left tackle position, his first 2 seasons in the league were marked by severe technical inconsistencies and a worrying history of injuries that limited his continued development. The coaching staff itself gave a clear sign of discomfort by publicly announcing, before the start of minicamp, that there would be an open competition for the starting left tackle position. This statement was seen by behind-the-scenes analysts as a veiled admission that the most important position in the defensive line is not secure, and that the coaching staff does not have complete confidence in the physical stability of their main player for the marathon of games approaching in 2026. Block 5. Impact on the team. The tactical impact of neglecting the solidity of the offensive line directly affects the productivity and longevity of quarterback Dak Prescott in the offensive scheme developed by Brian Schottenheimer. Prescott is no longer at a stage in his career where the Dallas Cowboys can afford to conduct laboratory experiments or tests of patience in their primary line of protection. America's team offense is entirely dependent on rhythm, mechanical synchronization, and perfect timing between the snap and the delivery of the ball to the receivers. When the protection gives way on the edges and opposing edge rushers manage to penetrate the protective bag, all the vertical danger of the Dallas system instantly collapses, forcing the quarterback to make rash decisions under constant physical pressure. The problem becomes even more serious when we analyze the other side of the line with Terrence Steele. Although Steele delivers consistent and solid notes in blocking for the running game, his performance in pass protection has been a documented vulnerability in recent years. The player has accumulated 3 consecutive seasons allowing more than 40 pressures to opposing pass rushers, showing that the technical evolution in the passing game has not kept pace with the modern demands of the Cowboys' offense. Ignoring this silent and tedious problem in the trenches is the quickest way to see a promising playoff campaign completely destroyed before the end of October, turning title promises into weekly medical reports on the Texas coaching staff's desk. Block 6. What could happen? The outcome of this offseason will define the tactical direction of the Dallas Cowboys in the fiercely competitive National Conference and will test the franchise's management philosophy for the remainder of 2026. If Jerry Jones decides to pick up the phone and close the trade deals that are knocking on his door, the team could arrive in California for the start of official training camp with one of the most formidable defensive rotations in the league, enhanced by the immediate impact and veteran leadership of Von Miller on long third-down situations. Similarly, the addition of an experienced pillar like Taylor Decker would bring the emotional stability and mentorship that the team's young linemen need to handle the weight of carrying the mystical star on their helmets under the relentless pressure of the U.S. national media. However, if the management maintains its stance of betting everything on internal development and luck against injuries, the price to be paid in January will be violently exacted on the cold fields of the postseason, where games are decided purely by the physical strength of the trenches. The current roster possesses enough raw talent to compete at the top of the division and accumulate wins in the regular season, but talented teams lose entire seasons when they choose to ignore the silent, bureaucratic problems of their roster. The table is set for the start of activities in Oxnard, and management has made its tactical choices. Will the bet on continuity and young potential be the element capable of breaking the historic drought and returning Dallas to the Super Bowl? Or are we about to witness another predictable collapse on the front lines that will leave the largest fan base on the planet without answers?